Warning, this game has offensive stuff. You were warned. Welcome back. We are playing Tiny Bunny Part 2. And this time I have a drink to situate my thirst. So I can play a little bit longer than last time. Let's do it. Oh yeah. I know, let's play hide and seek.
Нет, Оль.
No, oh yeah.
Тогда нарисуй мне
Draw
динозавра.
me a dino.
Оля, блин.
Oh yeah. Please.
Нарисуй.
Draw it.
Да оставь ты меня в
Leave me
покое!
alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken back. I never screamed at my little sister like that. Oya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling at a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Oya from crying.
Ладно, уболтала.
Alright, you win.
Давай
Let's go
смотреть
watch
мультики.
cartoons for a bit.
Уже
I don't
не
wanna.
хочу.
I came up to her, put my head on her soft head.
Пойдем.
Let's go.
Питера Пэна
Let's
посмотрим.
go watch Peter Pan.
Ага, ты опять уснешь.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless.
Не усну,
I
обещаю.
promise I won't.
А потом я тебе
And
целого
I'll draw you a
трицератопса
full
нарисую.
triceratops later.
Ура!
I like the way they said that. Hooray! Triceratops!
Ну, почти.
Well, close enough. Oya rubbed her eyes with her sleeve of pajamas and shining smile returned to her face.
Давай ты пока кассету перемотаешь.
I'll go ask
А я у
Mom for
мамы
condensed
попрошу
milk and bread and you
сгущенки с
rewind the
хлебом.
tape.
Только утром
bread is
свежий
fresh,
привезли,
just
как
how you
ты
like it.
любишь.
Неси, только
Alright.
аккуратнее, а то разольешь.
Just be careful not to spill the milk,
Опять ругаться будут.
or you'll be yelled at again.
Спорим, не разолью.
Want to bet? I won't spill it.
Кассета где-то в
The
тумбочке.
tape is
Поищи
somewhere in the
пока.
nightstand. Look for it. Oya disappeared into the doorway and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Oh. Piggy bank. Teddy bear. Window. Let's at the window. The scary window where Oya sees that accursed owl every night. Looking in the dark. Oya keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight. She wouldn't see a pair of hungry eyes outside. Piggy bank. Oya is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Oh, that's cute. Oya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Oya doesn't sleep without it, and she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Alright, let's turn this bad boy on. The old Photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that left was clicking the button on the front panel. Clicky click click. Is there going to be a jump scare? The tube warmed up and a familiar white noise started dancing out on the black screen. I almost reached out to torn VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch the signal in this channel again? On the other hand, Oya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Okay, so last time we did the dangerous thing and grabbed a glove, but it turned out to be nothing. It was just a glove. Well, it was actually Volva's glove? Yeah, Volva's. It was Volva's glove that we think it is anyways. So what if us setting the TV is just nothing? Or maybe we'll find out more about Volva. Or whatever's happening in that forest. If there's anything happening in that forest. It could just be in this kid's head. We don't know that yet. Let's do the TV. The picture finally cleared up, but in the moment I rejoiced to find a weird signal again. The TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony. Announcer. He was often seen. At the moment when small stony hills were lined up at the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was pitch black night in the cemetery. In that fateful, dark time, little Senya met her fate at the face of monstrous, wicked dweller. The locals called him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closer to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned across the snow as something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of the cloth that were thrown all around, all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Is that Grandmama? Here's what Tamora, the old woman that lives in the nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman weary from life and alcohol abuse. Right on the screen. Yes, yes! Such a fearsome beastie it is. Worse than the rising dead. Cough, cough, cough. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. That's kind of gross. Oh, there you are. And the stink. It's like... Oh my god. Damn, woman. The rest of the comparison was swallowed up by the sound of the horn. I've never felt anything like it. It was the standing there. Yes, right there, where you stand, boyo, and piercing you right with its eyes. Right in the middle of the day. What's so huge? That one, with the glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. I like this woman. You know, they say if these demons lay his eyes on you, they'll snatch you, put you into its bag, and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the Devil's Wench. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of the forest beast, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The forest master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of the country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it into the VCR without looking at the cover. I pressed record, turned the sound up, paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All of the animals obey it, but they hairy and feathery. They're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from trees, you better hide. It's already coming for you.
А если однажды ночью, проснувшись, вы
And if
увидите
you wake up
глаза
at
в
night and see a
окне,
pair of eyes
то
in your window,
скоро,
then soon,
скоро,
then soon,
скоро,
then soon, then
скоро,
soon. Okay, you really got to get to your point here, man.
скоро, скоро.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that all you got? That all you got? Come on, fight me. Let's go. Then the TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my eyes. That was really cool. I get goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of the leaves and the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor, and I pressed a button. The VCR ejected the tape for a moment. I thought it was stained with saliva, but that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops, I recorded over Peter Pan. Oh no! And that's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Oyo's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I couldn't hear the clatter of the glass on the squeaky floorboards. Oyo appeared in the
Ты не
doorway.
смотришь без меня?
You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray over unevenly, cut the bread and whole can of condensed milk.
Нет,
No.
я пока
I was
кассету
looking for the
ищу.
tape.
А ты точно
You
хочешь
really
Питера
want to
Пэна
watch Peter
смотреть?
Pan?
Хочу,
I do, I
включай
do.
скорее. А то
Turn it
мама
on
скоро
already. Mom
сядет
will
свой
come
бразильский
watch her
сериал
Brazilian
смотреть.
drama soon. Come on, think, fake detective.
Честно, мне как-то Питер Пэн
I know.
совсем не
I
понравился.
didn't like Peter Pan.
Может,
Maybe
лучше
we should
«Русалочку»?
watch Little Mermaid instead.
Русалочку я уже насмотрелась.
I've already seen it so many times.
А ты
And you
обещал.
promised me. Ooh, I know, man. She's so stubborn.
Придумал. Давай сначала пару серий Черепашек-ниндзя.
I
Согласна?
know, let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first. Deal? Yes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oya frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest.
Если так
If you
сильно
want it so
просишь,
much. What a good
откроешь
sister.
сгущенку. Порезаться боюсь. Края острые.
Can you open the milk can? Milk can? Milk can! Milk can. That's new to me. That is very new. That's very new to me. I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa I realized that the can was already opened. Oya had tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became very heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my little sister was faster. So we picked up the remote playing and proclaimed a victorious tone.
Повелся.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Владычица пульта приказывает смотреть Питера Пэна.
As a remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan. Uh-oh. She'll play it, and then... Black crosses and unending grapes, empty crypts, bloody scraps in the snow, and the insane devil's wrench. I'd better tell the truth.
Оля, стой!
Oh yeah, stop!
Я тебе конец кассеты нечаянно стер.
I erased the end of the tape by
Отдай
accident.
ее мне и возьми любые две мои.
I'll trade it with you for two of mine.
Ты чего?
What do you mean?
Не мог ты стереть?
You couldn't
Мы с
erase
папой
it.
всем
Me and Dad
кассетам
have
зубики
broken off all
пластмассовые
of those
выломали.
plastic pins with a
Отверткой.
screwdriver.
Теперь ни на один
can't
мой
record
мультфильм
anything over
ничего
my
записать
cartoons now.
нельзя.
My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting for out-of-this-world voice of the narrator. But then I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. Well, at least I didn't record over the Peter Pan, but now we have no evidence, if there ever was any evidence. That's kind of upsetting. My head, heavy as a leaden ball, now rested in my hands. Oya smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over her bread. And when the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported into the Neverland, like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages. Where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. But now, Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over brushes and ravines, like a winged carnivore would track its prey. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back into reality.
Тоша, скорее, штору задерни!
Tosha, shut the curtains, fast!
Зачем?
Why?
Никто же на тебя
No
не
one's watching
смотрит.
you.
Уже темно.
It's dark, and when it's
Когда
dark, the owl
темнеет,
comes.
прилетает сова.
I'm-
Я боюсь.
I'm scared. I get out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and close the curtains. Close! You're done. I did my best not to look outside, toward treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow.
Тоша, мама думает, что
Tosha,
я напридумала
Mom thinks I made the owl up.
И папа
And
считает,
Dad,
что
too,
раз
thinks
я
I'm a liar
маленькая,
since
то
I'm
значит
small.
врушка. А сова есть.
But the owl exists.
Вот честная,
Honestly,
пречестная
it
истина.
does.
Ты же мне веришь,
You do believe me, right?
что она
And
там
it comes every
каждую
night
ночь прилетает.
and I swiftly grabbed Oya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities?
Я тебе верю,
Yes,
слышишь?
I believe you, alright?
Ты только родителям больше
Just
не
don't nag our
рассказывай про
parents
сову.
about it anymore.
У них и так хлопот
They're already
навалом.
dealing with a
Они
lot, so
только
they just get
рассердятся.
mad at you.
Ты мне говори, если что случится.
Come and tell me if anything happens.
И в окно не смотри.
And don't look out the
Она
window.
хочет, чтобы я смотрела.
But it wants me to look.
Перехочет.
Doesn't matter.
Притворись, что ее
Act
нет
like
и
it
не было
doesn't exist
никогда.
and never
Что она
existed.
выдумка, как
Like it's
родители
made
говорят.
up, just like Mom and Dad say.
Ей ждать надоест,
They'll
она
get tired of
улетит.
waiting to fly away. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents were tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to the London on a glided sailboat. But by some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Oya's eyelids had dropped, and she started snorting slightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was signing the ending song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. And it's back! Another moon peeked from under the first one, scary and wan, hanging over the taiga forest. The horrific report got recorded right over their credits. My throat went dry, my pulse became faster. I looked toward Oya. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and then carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in it. I stood up and left Oya's room. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside with the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Well, hello, Mother
Довольно
dearest.
баловства.
Enough playing around.
Завтра первый день
It's your
школы.
first day of school tomorrow. Yes, Mother.
Ложись, тебе надо
Go
выспаться.
to bed. You should sleep properly.
Не хочешь же ты, чтобы тебя все дразнили Соней?
You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Is that a thing that happens? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come, after all. The day I fear the most. The first day of the new school term. Episode 2. Time to play with you. Oh, we were really close to the end there. Oh, I should have just kept playing. Ah, that's all right. New school, new teachers, and most importantly, new classmates, who I always have trouble connecting with. Like most other kids with glasses Probably. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning in the bedroom my parents were silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. I didn't want to get the daddy's boy reputation from day one. My parents were probably so tucked in, dreaming about the good old days when everything was so simple and easy. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently sneaked out of the first floor so I couldn't wake up anybody, especially the peacefully sleeping Oya. I did my best to step on the middle of every floorboard. I used to play like this even in our old apartment. If my soles touched the space between the floorboards, it was counted as stepping into lava. The clock was spurring me on with its hands. I need to hurry. Faster, faster. It was too fast. I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between floorboards. I needed to watch my step to survive at any cost. Hippity hop like a frog jumping on the molehills like a fearful bunny in a grove of full wolves. I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat, and drank it down with cold tea. My appetite was as good as someone being led up the scaffold toward a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on 2 floorboards at the same time. Burnt to the crisp, hon. I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes writhed in my belly. The fear of getting hit and being called nasty names. The clock clicked. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. This darkness never fully left the house around here. I took my time tying my shoes, buttoning up the puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. I wore my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of the glass brought me any good fortune. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. It licked up stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. I locked the front door with a long key that I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear this noose, afraid that, being a total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. The wind whizzed on the other side of the gate. It invited me into my new life toward dubious adventures. And tagged alone like an old bunny. Old buddy, not bunny, buddy, pushing me in the back. Wide shadows that pines throughout covered a third of the clearing. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hid my nose in the coat's collar. All that music, it sounds familiar. Anyways, I was squeezing through the thin fire break, my hair ruffled up and my back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. A snowy blanket rustled under my feet, and the canopy of the intertwined branches above my head cut me off from the already sparse starlight. The night had no plans of moving away from the forest. And in this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with the holes in the middle as their mouths. If I lost focus even for a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest depths. Then my parents would be walking around these parts, screaming my name. But the dead can't answer the living. Or can they? A sense of panic was growing in my chest. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands by now if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up the ravines like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. As soon as I started walking faster, I heard snow sweep behind me. The forest took a deep breath with its giant lungs. Windfall cracked. The wind and the birds were left behind the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listening closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger, as if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. A tiny trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. The tree branches overlapped, forming a natural tunnel.
Есть здесь кто?
Who's there? My question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending creaking sound of the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? I'm either going mad, or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Distant lights granted me a smidgen of hope. A country road. I ran there as fast as I could, as if afraid the trail would shrink. Clawed hands will grip me by the shoulders, turning me around and make me look at the faces of hungry forest denizens. In the end, nobody stopped me. I almost flew to the decrepit wooden bridge, disbelieving my luck. The bridges of ports bathed in spring, carry a nice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest. It snorted, trying to calm my breathing. The thicket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful, lifeless. The remaining part of my commute lay through a snow-laden road, illuminated by sparse lamplights. Oh, an actual neighborhood. I chased away bad thoughts and I ran fast as I could from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electric lamps. Just like that game where you need to be the first to proclaim, "I'm protected." I've never played that. It's just in case that protection was flimsy at best, with darkness writhing outside its bounds. Is that a doggy? Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. In place where the light was inclined, the lamp couldn't reach. A hairy, crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. Is it a wolf man? It almost felt like its features deterred light. Its unnatural pose instilled fear. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I just stood there blinking, trying to chase away that illusion. But the shadow didn't disappear and even got closer. My insides were gripped by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a snow pile. The black silhouette, on the other hand, straightened up and addressed me in a sweet voice. Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul? Words got stuck in my throat. Who could be talking in such a silky voice here between the forest and dormant village? Will you say something, dummy? A cat got your tongue? Alright, I'll bite off your nose then. That'll teach you not to poke in places it doesn't belong. A good stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette. But I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl before noticing a gaping mouth under her hood with something dangerously shining inside. I was stunned. From the cavity of her hood, a friendly, real fox face was staring straight at me. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. A mask? It's just a girl with a fox mask on. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept onto my face. I was just
Просто в школу иду, а
going
тут...
to school and then you.
Что я?
What about me?
Никогда не видел, как лиса собаку
Never
кормит?
seen a fox feed a dog? I have not. No, this is a first for me. Cute dog, though. Look at that. And indeed, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs. One of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably.
Извини, я не
Sorry,
хотел.
I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowers its ears, sniffs me out, and then started wagging its tail. I guess it still smelled the bologna that I ate for breakfast. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scary anymore, just weird.
Значит, не
So you didn't mean to, huh?
Ну, как тебя зовут?
What's your name?
Меня Антон.
I'm Anton.
А тебя?
And you?
А меня нет.
And I'm not. What? I don't get it. I don't get. Okay. Ha 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 ha. She's weird. Definitely has a couple of loose screws, but she has a nice voice. My astonishment has turned into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I didn't know was definitely human, if a bit eccentric. I was also a bit angry at myself. This fox girl was walking through the darkness without a problem, and I shuddered from every little sound. I could just walk away, but this girl had piqued my interest. Next time a police officer asks me about my friends at the new place, I'll tell them that I befriended a talking
Ты
fox.
здесь живешь?
Do you live around here?
В поселке?
In the village? The fox giggled and purred. She spun around so hard that the hem of her coat lifted up.
Нет, глупый.
No, dummy.
Лисы не
Foxes don't
живут
live in
в
villages.
поселках.
Хочешь сказать,
So you
ты
live in the
живешь в
forest
лесу?
then.
Из какой норы ты вылез?
Have you been living under a rock?
Конечно. Лисам среди людей не
It's obvious
выжить,
that foxes can't survive anywhere near humans,
пока они лисы.
as long as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird, just like her carnival mask, paper mache with fur glued onto it. A dog reminded us of its existence with a loud bark. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge. Cookies, apples, or even my favorite crab sticks. Crab sticks. He called it a gift from the bunny! Bunny! The stray strolled toward me with mincing footsteps, with pleading like it's in its eyes. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry.
Зачем ты так вырядилась с утра
Why are you
пораньше?
dressed like that so early in the morning?
На утренник идешь?
Going to a costume party? The girl shrugged, throwing silvery snowflakes off her nose, and her human form along with it, turning into a genuine beast. A real fox, agile, cunning, dangerous. A moment of hesitation and you'll be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without a breaking sweat. I couldn't help but just stand there as a stump, until I heard her calm, melodic laughter hidden underneath a beastly mask.
Видел бы ты свою маску.
I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Did she say sweetie? I got embarrassed, went right up to my hair roots. We'd seen a fox in the zoo once, when we went there with Dad, but it had patchy fur, was gray and skinny. But this girl was a fiery color of furry, just like in the fairy tales. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers that were scratching from the dog's treat stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object.
Ничего.
You'll see.
Скоро
Real beats
проснутся
wake up soon.
настоящие звери.
Humans, obviously.
Спроси
You should ask them
кого-то
where they
у
got
них,
their human faces.
где они взяли свои человеческие лица.
The girl's shadow was dancing in the lamp's light. The dog yapped in agreement. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Cold wind instantly covered the hole it created with snow. The dog rushed to dig it out, wanting to get its treat. And the fox just snorted. Now I was so embarrassed I just wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark outside of the electric circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even more thick. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in this inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the weird girl I didn't know.
Так ты в школу идешь?
So, are you going to school? Foxes don't go to school, silly. What are you, living under a rock or something?
Ах, ну какой же дурачок.
Oh my, you are a real dummy.
Так ничего и не
Don't you get it?
понял.
Well, I was trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me. Calling me a dummy and all. I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog.
А ты чего обзываешься?
Why are you so mean?
Не хочешь
Don't
отвечать,
answer if you don't want
пожалуйста.
to.
Никто не требует.
It's not like I care. Baka, it's not like I care or anything. Baka. The mysterious appearance, her voice that was velvety and just languid enough. I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn.
Ой, да не дуйся.
Oh, stop pouting.
Гляди-ка
Look
лучше.
here.
Ты нравишься Жульке.
Zolka took a liking to you. The dog was digging through the snow with sharp movements, snoring loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of my nearby house. At its timbered front through the white mist. The tip of her fake nose was shining under the lamp's light.
И не только
Maybe someone
ей.
else, too. Listen, when I started playing this game, I was not expecting that. Okay, so you need to just backtrack it real quick. I'm trying to solve a mystery here. I'm a detective. It's what I do. Okay? I'm not trying to do a fox. That's not what I'm here for. I went red again like a boiled crayfish this time. Is she talking about herself or someone else? Please be someone else. I hoped that the semi-dark would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before asking.
А кому еще я
And
нравлюсь?
who's that person? I waited, counting my heartbeat. The fox didn't reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's windows. She was reading them like a glass book. I wonder what she can see in those wintered paintings. The stray stopped rummaging through. Is that the other mitten? It ran to me, holding my object in her jaws. A mitten. Could it be the one I found in the forest? What was it doing here? When I looked closer, I realized it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep. A certain missing boy immediately came to mind.
Эй, ты знаешь что-нибудь про Вову?
Ah, finally. Hey, do you know anything about Volva? I imagine seeing silhouettes dancing in the clearing. Dance on the night when Volva had disappeared. A boy who when found can provide a big reward and maybe save my family. I remembered my birthday when our parents promised to take me and Oya to the Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console, visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, debating to take me to the promised amusement park. That was when the first time Mom and Dad had a big fight. My greediness shattered the relationship. Oh, that's not your fault, dude. You're like, what, 7? Maybe even younger than that? If only I could fix everything, gather everybody I love and take them to Disneyland.
В ночь, когда пропал Вова, я, кажется, видел, как кто-то
On the
похожий
night
на
Volva
тебя
disappeared,
плясал
I
под
think I
моим
saw
окном.
someone looking like you dancing under the window. It couldn't be true, but I felt like her mask became even more sly. The fox was sniffing me out.
А что? Ты тогда
Oh?
испугался?
That got you worried?
За себя
For
или
yourself?
кого-то
Or for
еще?
someone else? Oh yeah. As soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened and a cold sweat streamed down my spine.
Ну так
Well
слушай
then,
меня
listen closely, a
внимательно,
boy named
мальчик
Anton.
по имени Антон.
Oh, that's so cool.
Это большой и страшный лес.
This is a big and scary forest. Oh, hey, calm down there, Lily. Fox Girl stepped forward menacingly.
И я не единственная
And I am
его
not its only
обитатель.
tenant.
Другие
The other
звери
beasts
уже
already know
знают
about
о
you.
тебе. Берегись
Beware.
нас.
You'll come
Этой
again
ночью
tonight.
мы
I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking.
Пока ты со своей семьей будешь спать,
When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak really close and dance.
Макарену!
Macarena!
Чё?
Huh? Huh?
Эй, Макарена!
Aye.
Челюсть отвисла, Антоша!
Wow.
Видел он меня ночью у своего окна? Ага,
He
как
saw
же!
me near his window at night. Yeah, right.
А ты случайно
Are you,
местный
by any chance, a
дурачок,
dimwit?
нет?
Wow, again with the insults?
Меня не
Nobody would have let me
отпускают
go
гулять
outside
так
that late.
поздно. Здесь,
Children
знаешь
go
ли,
missing here, you
дети
know.
пропадают.
I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She got me scared to death.
Ой, да не тереби ты окуляры свои.
Hey, why don't you stop fondling your glasses?
Я раньше
It was
тоже
also nearsighted
близорукой
once.
была.
I was also nearsighted once.
Лучше послушай
Listen to me and
меня.
maybe you'll become
Может,
smarter.
лисичку как обычно называют?
Remember, what do they call foxes?
Плутовка?
Cunning? My words seemed to hurt her.
Ох
Hey,
ты ж!
what did you...
Ой, прости.
Sorry? Her laughter was akin to a jingle of a pair of silver bells.
Да шучу я!
Just pulling your leg.
Конечно,
Of course we're
плутовки.
cunning. Yeah, they're foxes.
Если ты
If you're
ловкий
agile and
змей
brave enough
и не боишься с
and brave
плутовкой
enough to befriend a
водиться,
cunning fox,
я
I'll help you look for your
буду
vulva.
спала. Ты же неспроста его ищешь.
There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply. Her insight was alarming.
Знаю, почему
I know why
дети
children have been
повадились
swarming our
соваться в
forest
наш лес.
recently.
Порой там можно найти
Sometimes you can
много
find a lot of
всякого
interesting stuff there.
интересного. Я вот однажды нашла целый сугроб конфет и купалась в нем. Да так что челюсть слиплась.
One day, I saw a huge pile of candy once and swam in it until my jaws cramped. A pile of candy. I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice, and I showed her another smile, a fake one this time.
Посмотрите-ка, какой недоверчивый.
Boo, so weary.
Ну-ну.
Well, what
А
will you
что
say to
ты
this
на
then?
это ска-
No! She held out her hand in a furry mitten. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold in the markets and the kiosks. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper among the tasty treasure. A familiar name was on it. Turbo. Turbo Boost! A triangular fox face poked her nose toward me.
Угощайся.
Take some.
У меня их
My pockets
полные
are full of
карманы.
these. Oh, 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 oh. What should I do? What should I do? Do I trust the animal or do I not trust the animal? What do I do? Okay, let's think about this. If I refuse, she might take offense to that. But if I take it, it might be a trap. But and you don't take candy from strangers. I refuse.
Нет, спасибо.
No thanks. I didn't want to offend the first person I've made contact with in this new place. But I also didn't want to take gum off the hands of some weird girl. What if she found it in the snow pile? Or what if it's a prank candy, like the kind that blows up in your face when you unwrap
У
it?
меня на сладкое аллергия.
I'm allergic to sweets. What? She sounded puzzled.
Ты чего?
Are you living in a world
Живешь в мире
of
таблеток
pills
и
and mixtures?
микстур?
Probably.
Ну, в
Well,
целом, да.
more or less. A fox whistled. Her palm was empty now. It floated in the air, catching snowflakes now that all the candy had suddenly disappeared.
И Новый год у вас правда раз в 12 месяцев?
And you only celebrate New Year's once in 12 months, right?
И есть эти...
And you have those. She clicked her fingers trying to remember something.
понедельники?
Mondays suck.
Ага.
Yeah. I smiled.
О,
Man,
как
you're a
всё
difficult case.
запущено. Вам бы, юноша, кило шоколада съесть против скуки и уныния.
I prescribed you a kilo of chocolate to battle your boredom, young man. Who are you? Or I refrained from asking that question. She wouldn't answer anyways, or she'll just lie. I really wanted to see what's behind her mask. I was becoming more and more sure that underneath it wasn't just a simple young girl.
Может, Вова тоже нашел
What if Vova
сугроб
also found a snow
сладостей и
pile
теперь
with sweets and is
кувыркается в
now
нем?
rolling in it?
Слушай,
Actually, what if he decided to
вдруг он
stay
решил
in the
остаться
forest?
в лесу?
What, like in Peter Pan or something? Oops. Is this what it's going to lead up to? Peter Pan, practically? Where you make a choice at the end?
Тогда, наверное, ему
He must be
очень
so cold
холодно
without
в
his second
одной
mitten then.
варежке.
The wind caught her words like a smoke from a fire and carried them deep into the darkness, into the creepy thicket. The trees behind me creaked with their bony branches.
Или
Or what
с
if
ним что-то случилось
something
в
happened
пути?
to him along the way?
Что-то страшное.
Something terrible. The forest reacted to her words, became alive. It sniffed me out, perking its ears just like a curious beast. Foxgirl pierced me with her eyes again.
Дикие звери?
Wild beasts.
Это, по-твоему,
You find
страшно?
that scary. I was about to say crazy.
Ну,
Well,
не знаю.
I don't know.
Не знает.
He doesn't know.
Уж не с двоечником
Oh my,
я
I have-
подружилась.
Have I befriended a dunce? I didn't like being called a dunce, yet being friends with her sounded nice.
Я хорошист.
My grades are good.
Билда,
Really
пушист.
now?
Пойдешь со мной?
Will you come with me?
Антон.
Good grades, Anton?
Найдем твоего Вову.
We'll
Ты
find
сам
your
его
Volva and you'll be able to
спросишь,
ask
что он
him what he
нашел
found
в
deep
этой
in the
пуще.
forest.
Ведь пока
As
мы
long as you're with
вместе,
me, nothing can hurt you in the
никто тебя
forest.
в лесу не тронет. Вот увидишь.
You'll see. Worms of worry writhed in my belly. Better run, whispered my mind.
Я тебе не верю.
I don't believe you.
Ты думаешь, я вру?
Do you take me for a liar?
Да и пожалуйста. Мне
Whatever,
никогда
you're just like
никто не
everybody
верит.
else. The girl sounded hurt, although didn't know if she was being genuine about it. Okay, I'm back. She turned around as if she had immediately lost all interest in me. I remember my dad's favorite saying, "Where are your manners, son?" Indeed, this fox was kind to me.
Не обижайся,
Please,
пожалуйста.
don't get mad.
Лисы бывают и
Foxes
добрыми.
can also be
Ну,
nice,
как в сказках.
like in fairy tales.
Мне бы только понять, что ты за лиса.
I just need to know what kind of fox you are. The girl giggled, hiding the noise of her mask in her hands.
Тогда пойдем со мной в лес.
Then follow me into the forest, and you'll get to know me.
Но не сейчас, а когда рассветет. спасет.
But not right now, when it
А то
gets
тебя,
bright.
бедного, всего
I mean,
аж
your whole body is
потрясет.
shaking, you poor thing.
Да выгляди, Кондрашка,
I don't want you to
хватит.
get a stroke.
Ай да, провожу
Hey.
тебя до школы.
Let me accompany you to school. After hearing this, the dog barked in agreement and stopped messing with the mitten. I leaned in, trying to grab the piece of handwear that almost ran away from me.
Ну, если тебе по пути...
Well, if we're going in the same direction. We went toward the school in the lost dawn. Here and there, the lights came onto windows of houses we passed, as if the inhabitants were sending us warning signs. Silhouettes lurked behind curtains. Dogs let out occasional barks. Spirals of gray smoke rose from chimneys. TVs bustled and dishes clanged in kitchens. We watched the village slowly rise from its slumber while carefully treading the snowy wheelchairs. I walked in the left one and she took the right one. The dog was following right behind us. I expected the fox to bring up something weird again, but she stayed silent all the way to school, as if playing with me some game only she was privy to. She would only giggle from time to time when the dog sneezed from the snowflakes that fell on his nose. I was the first to break the silence.
Так как тебя зовут?
So, what's your name?
А, ну,
Here it
конечно.
comes.
Имена, имена,
Names,
имена.
names, names.
Людям непременно
people
надо
always need to
вешать
put
ярлыки
labels
на
on
всё
everything.
подряд. Ну и как бы ты назвал такую
What
лису,
name would you
как
give a
я?
fox like me?
Даже не знаю.
Trouble? I don't know.
Но я читал про лису по имени Алиса.
But I've read about Elisa the fox.
А что?
You know what?
Я не
I don't
против.
mind.
Пусть будет Алиса.
I'll be Elisa. I couldn't understand if she was joking or not. I turned around as if looking for an answer from the dog, from the dark sky devoid of dawn. My silent questions were left unanswered. The school's outline was already in sight. Our giant brick box stuck in the endless night. Lights in its windows didn't bode well for me. The warning trees were guarding the schoolyard. Screams, childish laughter, and someone's whistling tore up the silence. I went here with my mom when we just moved and the place looked cozy at the time. Empty corridors that smelled of polished, puffy snow outside. The second time I came alone to get the books and just kept on imagining my peers rolling down the railings, grade schoolers running to the library, and teachers marching down the corridor with the air of self-importance around them. High schoolers were smoking at the entrance, in track pants and wool caps, perched on their foreheads. Their appearance destroyed the last of the hopes of our cozy school. Their stingy eyes and teeth yellow from nicotine, their smirks, all of it had the same gloomy effect as a cloudy winter morning. Absorbed by my thoughts, I completely forgot about my companion.
После уроков жду тебя на заднем дворе,
I'll wait for you at the backyard after school.
возле повешенного.
Near the hanging man.
Возле кого?
Near what? She just ignored my
Не
question.
опаздывай.
Don't be late. I hesitated, blowing hot and cold again. Mom always said that when I would have trouble choosing between two options. Thinking about Mom helped me
Я
reply.
после школы сразу домой.
I'm going straight home after school.
Эх, Антоша, Антоша.
I'm going to let you
Я
off the
тебя
hook.
так просто отпустила. Другие же незаметно подкрадутся со своими
But the others will creep up to
улыбочками.
you with their
И
smiles and
вцепятся.
sink their teeth into you.
Клещами не оторвешь.
Won't be able to shake them off so easily.
Попомни мои слова.
Remember my words. Oh man, wow. The fox appeared, her mouth in a wide yawn. What kind of trick is this?
Антоха!
Someone running in the distance called out my name. I instinctively turned around. Hey! A huge snowball whizzed past my shoulder and hit the dog. It whimpered and ran toward the spring. The darkness devoured it. The fox girl was also nowhere to be seen. She dissolved into the frosty air. Or was she hiding in my shadow? After taking a deep breath, I went toward the school, toward the cutlets and dough, toward the light raining down into the snow. Whose nest is this, I wonder? A thieving magpie. Then it probably has all sorts of shiny things in it. Pieces of colorful glass, bottles, caps, polished coins, or child erases. Okay, I'm done. I could hear muffled voices behind the door, saw blinking lamps. Darkness creeped along the windows, and it felt like a school was drifting in an open space like a lonely, lost spaceship. After going to the second floor, I noticed a crowd around the notice board. Everyone was taking part in a lively discussion. Vova Machukin, 10 years old. I moved closer and looked at something everyone else was interested through the wall of backpacks. There was a piece of paper with something printed on it, glued to the left on the notice board. 10 years old, grade 4B. He left his home on January the 5th, around 1600. So that's around 6 o'clock, and never returned. Was last seen at the bridge over the Samorodina River. He was wearing an orange coat with a hood, a black wool cap, a scarf, and mittens with green stripes. Might have had a plastic toy gun on him. Features: 142 centimeter tall, skinny, brown hair, green eyes. Please call the number if you see anything. That was his name. A 4th grader. On that grainy print, Vova looked dead with a black mouth and dark, empty eye sockets. Could it be that the darkness dwelling deep in the forest invaded his pores and mutilated his face? A plastic toy gun couldn't protect him from the whispering branches and the howling wind. Empty eyes of the lost boy pierced through my soul, as if pleading. Unable to meet his stare, I turned around and rushed to the window. I took a seat at the windowsill. The corridor was slowly filling up with children in groups of few. Nobody paid me any mind. In the darkness of school toilets, child voices were hammering a nursery rhyme. For the fox and the fair bear, bunny tasty meals prepare. I turned my head toward them, trying to get a better look at their features, but then my attention was stolen by a loud clicking sound. A female teacher marched down the corridor with her chin raised up high. Her heels were hitting the floor like a miniature hooves. A girl was trailing her every step. She was also looking pompous, stopping along the way and whispering some secret in her friend's ear. She was probably a class rep since she was carrying an attendance register book.
Екатерина, возьми, пожалуйста.
Ekaterina. Or is it Ekaterina? Ekaterina. Ekaterina. Your name's Katerina, okay? We're not... Fuck that E. Take this, please. The teacher opened the classroom door and a crowd of children swarmed in, screaming and pushing. Okay. Hi, guy, got some acne going on there, but that's okay. It's a part of growing up, right? Out of all of them, a tall, red-headed fat boy caught my attention, his face full of blisters. Oh, they're blisters. Oh. He looked like the insides of a pomegranate. That's mean. And also kind of picturing that is kind of weird. A bad feeling risen up in the hair on the back of my hair. I've seen boys like him before. Unsettled eyes, cackling laughter. The girl who was a smaller copy of the teacher warned the boy with a wave of her hand and entered the room through the clearing in the crowd. Some other guy stood in the way of the crowd and the redhead immediately shoved him. Move your legs, moron. Ah, so he's a bully. The boy flew head first, flailing his hands, trying to keep his balance. The fatso burst out laughing at a couple of kids joining his nasty cackling. Their laughter sounded like someone who was snipping it with huge garden scissors. The classroom sucked all the kids in. The corridor stood empty. I wanted to grow roots and stay in the windowsill. Just a handful of lampposts outside were battling in the darkness, writhing like a fluorescent fish in the black ocean. Maybe I could still run away. Go outside, dissolve in the dark. I imagine myself running through the snow, how it squeaks under my boots, and how I'm becoming lighter and lighter with every step. The ringer's trill blew that illusion away. I tore myself from the window with great effort, and took a couple of deep breaths, trying to at least calm down my mad pulse. I entered the classroom. The prim teacher looked at me over the frame of her glasses, clearly annoyed.
Я
I am
новенький.
the transfer student.
Мне вот сказали,
I was told to come
к
here.
вам под-
The snowy forest trail was winding in front of my eyes. The pines rustled, but it didn't sound predatory anymore. Why are teachers always like that? Like, yeah, of course, I knew that. You're late. She buried herself in the register and flicked through the pages.
А фамилия-то как?
Your last name?
Петров.
Petrov.
Громче говори.
Huh? What are you mumbling there?
Чего мямлишь?
Say it clearly.
Петров.
Нет такого.
You're not on the list. She measured me with a long, heavy stare as if trying to see if I was lying. What? Okay. I wanted to sink through the floor. Hazy faces observed all of that from the left. The classroom breathed and snorted in the unison, like a living organism, like a dangerous beast.
Ты не ошибся?
Are you sure?
Нет такого в списке.
I don't have you in my register. My knees chose the worst time to start shaking, and I felt dizzy. I clutched my fist so hard my knuckles became
Мне
white.
сказали, 204 кабинет, Лилия Павловна, 6 В.
They told me to come to classroom 204 to ask for Lilia Pavlovna, class 6C. Apparently everyone in the classroom took my words for some sort of joke because they were all laughing. He's in the
за
wrong
бардак?
class. What's wrong with this school? The classroom felt silent. The kids hid their smirks for a better occasion.
Понаберут студентов.
Why do we hire so many interns?
Только знают, что губяки свои малевать. А я разгребай, значит.
They all know how to put lipstick all over their bulging lips, but when it comes to real problems, I have to solve everything.
А бумаги-то кто заполнять будет? Не первый раз ведь уже.
How did they send you here without any proper paperwork, huh? We had this same thing happen so many times already.
Подожди здесь. Сейчас.
Wait here, I'll be back.
Сейчас я ему
After I have a little
устрою.
chat with them. The teacher flew past me, mumbling something to herself in a righteous anger, and I was left standing at the center of the classroom. Like a convict in front of a firing squad, I lowered my gaze, feeling the mocking stares from all over the classroom directed at me. They pricked my skin, danced on it like laser sights. Once again, I imagined running far away from this place, fighting the clawing wind, soaring high above the pines in one long jump, with the wind in my back as my only companion. The eyes of my future classmates were asking, this new boy, is he one of us or an outsider? Somebody whispered something and stifled laughter rode through the classroom.
Доску вытри!
Wipe the board. It was easy to guess who was the main prankster here.
Эй, очкарик!
Hey, Four
Ты
Eyes.
чё, не
Are you not
только
only
слепой,
blind, but
но
also
ещё и
deaf?
глухой? Доску вытри, говорю!
I said wipe the board. My knees weren't the only shaking part of my body anymore. I was trembling from head to toe, and I prayed for the teacher to come back sooner. My prayers were answered by the powers that be.
Ну что мне с тобой делать-то, а?
And what should I do with you now?
Куда сажать, а?
Where will you sit?
Давай-ка сядь, наверное,
Oh well,
с
you
Семеном.
can sit with Semyon, I
Он
guess.
все равно один.
He's alone anyways.
Ещё чего?
No way. Faso put his backpack on the seat beside him in defiance, scratched his belly, and smirked.
Ты опять за старое?
Are you back to your old tricks?
Снова бабушку в школу
Should I
вызывать?
call your grandma here again? The classroom went silent.
А чё она мне сделает?
What's she gonna do?
Не она, так я тебе сделаю.
Ooh, I'll be the one to do something if she doesn't. Ooh, she's gonna whoop that ass. Ooh.
Рюкзак убрал быстро.
Put away your backpack now. Semyon didn't move a muscle. He started studying the portraits of writers on the wall, looking bored. I needed to do something to resolve this somehow, to save myself. I cleared my throat and continued that stifled voice that sounded nothing like me.
Я могу за последнюю парту
I
сесть.
can sit in the last row.
Там, кажется,
I think
свободно.
there's a free seat. The teacher snorted loudly. She looked at me, then at Semyon, then back at me.
Ладно,
Fine.
садись
Go
пока.
there for
А
now.
с тобой, бабулин,
And you,
мы еще
bad
поговорим.
boring, I'll have a talk with you later.
Чтобы подошел после уроков.
Come to me after classes.
Будешь по классу
You'll be
дежурить,
on
ясно?
cleaning duty. Got it? Somebody forced out a twisted smile, Juicy pimples were growing out the tip of his nose, ripe for the taking. Why do you have to describe it like that? I walked carefully, afraid to stumble and fall, causing another outburst of laughter from everyone. I took my seat at the back and lost at the last table, where I was met with a pile of old posters. The outcasts took their seats and the class were ready to start.
Вот и хорошо.
Now,
Начнем урок.
this is Soto. Let's start the class.
Тема.
Today's theme is traditions of Russian and international literature
Не надо врать.
in Zochenko's Don't Lie. Don't look at me, you dick. The fatso turned back to me. His stare informed me of the coming days, weeks, and months of bullying. I've got my eyes on you, said his watery look. Poke his eyes out. Do it. Do it. He won't be so scary then. After just a couple of periods, I had already noticed a huge yellow spit stain on my notebook. Then, at the cafeteria, this simian accidentally spilled a glass of Camphor on me. And then he floated his hands around after exiting the toilet, so some of the liquid from his hands would get on me. Just before the final period for today, Semyon pushed me into a buzzing crowd of girls from our class. Oh no, it's an anime moment! Oh my god! They made away, cursing them, but I couldn't hold my balance and ended up ramming my face into the girl I took from the class rep before. Right in her chest.
Ай!
Ow! I immediately stepped back, dying from
Прости, ты в
embarrassment.
порядке?
I'm sorry, are you right?
Я...
Then she suddenly put her hands on her hips.
Нет, ну вы
Will
посмотрите
you look
на
at
него.
him?
Облапал меня
Groping me
прямо
in
у
front of
всех на
everyone?
глазах.
Oh, come on. That's not what happened.
Я сейчас все маме
I'll tell my
расскажу.
mom. I'm sure you would.
Тебя из школы
They'll
выгонят,
expel you,
извращенец.
pervert. She's a bitch. Gotcha. There was some sort of sadistic pleasure in her eyes, as if she was a child who was about to put a lid up matched to the Schaefer beetle. You know, the fox was a lot nicer to me than you.
Я нечаянно. Меня толкнули.
I didn't mean to. He pushed me.
Все видели.
We all saw that,
Цветы
you know.
среди нас
No
нет.
blind among us. Then why are you mad at me? She stared at my glasses while showing me a creepy smile. I started to fume on the inside, but Senya's laughter cooled my head.
Толкнули?
I pushed you?
Чё,
You sure?
правда?
He swaggered up to me, enveloped me in a smell of sunflower seeds and rotting teeth, and then pushed me to the ground.
Вот так,
Like this,
а?
huh? What you gonna do? Punch him in the throat! The bully towered over me, as if saying, "Come on, hit me. Let me see you try." Punch him in the throat. Punch him in the throat! Listen, you. My throat went dry and my lips were moving on their own, and my voice was akin to a stifled squeal. Semyon wore a mocking
Давай,
smile.
давай,
Go on,
продолжай.
Four
очко
Eyes.
всё примолкло.
Why did you stop?
Нам
We're all
всем,
waiting.
Если еще хоть раз
If
меня
you ever touch
тронешь.
me again, I'm gonna punch you in the throat. Semyon slowly stuck out a finger and poked my forehead.
Натронул
did.
и чё?
So what?
Еще хоть раз
If you ever do that again,
тронул.
here,
А вот
once
ещё.
more,
Эй,
and again,
эй,
and again.
эй,
and
ещё.
Dude, you gotta punch him in the throat. He was poking me with his finger so hard that my head started tilted backward. I must not cry. You must punch him in the throat, or I'll be done for.
Чё ты мне
Well, it went
сделаешь,
like you
мямля?
do to me. My vision went blurry. My soles tore off from the floor. I rushed forward through a random punch without looking. Yeah, my man. You gonna go cry to mommy now? What I saw when I opened my eyes was beautiful and horrifying at the same time. Semyon was holding his ear and blinking in amazement. Was I the first person to rebel against his absolute rule?
Stop it!
I needed to run, but I was already surrounded by his cronies.
Лилия Павловна!
Lilia Pavona.
Лилия Павловна!
Pa-
Петров
oh,
Спокойно
yeah.
ударил!
Oh, come on. You're all suck. You all suck. I hate all of you. You all suck. Yeah, I'm glad I hit him. I regret nothing, but it should have been in the throat. I'm not saying you should hit a 12-year-old, but if they're a dick, I kind of feel like they deserve it. I don't hit kids unless they're a dickhead. You know what to do, future me. You know what to do. This is a joke. Samuel's cheeks grew even redder as his pimples even wider, like the heads of larvae. But a smile flashed on his face that was only noticed among his comrades. He got really close to me. The smell of rotten teeth washed over.
Тебе
You
пиздец.
are fucking done. His voice was evil and dangerous, like someone tore off the lid from a kettle with boiling fat. I was waiting to get hit, counting the thumps of my heart and guessing where his fist would go. The solar plexus, the jaw, the nose. But he just torn away and walked off. A thought, cold and sober, and extremely rational, popped up in my head. I'm going to get killed today. Nah, you're fine. I was late to leave the school after classes on purpose. Samuel didn't attend the last period, so I was hopeful. What if he decided to dodge the cleaning duty and ran home, forgetting all about me? I heaved a sigh of relief, like someone on death row whose execution was delayed by a day. But I didn't let myself forget his tone, his vengeful gaze, and his scary, electrified smirk. While the other students were leaving the school, laughing loudly, I was pretending to skim through my books near a window. I was staring outside, nervous. Semyon was nowhere to be found in front of the yard, or near the school gate. I didn't really believe it I was this lucky, so I decided to be extra cautious to stay for some more time in the corridor that was gradually getting less crowded. All of the bustle moved to the first floor. There was a skeleton waking out of the biology classroom. Some jokester put a cap with the American condor on his head. The sound of running water were coming from the bathroom. I was the only person left in the whole school. I'm not alone, a sudden thought come to mind. I remembered the missing boy. His portrait was on the notice board near the table. Or near the schedule. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it has been over an hour. I am going to end this episode, and hopefully I will see you in the next one later.
You're damn right I killed him!
Ah!